You are so cute. I love it when you talk that way. I'll be right back.
Watch News 2 from 5 to 6 a.m. for your chance to win Predators ticket.
November 15th, 2000.
Secretary Harris's case was dismissed without prejudice.
A big win for the Democrats in Florida's top court. Hand counting can go forward.
All right, I need 2 more Democrat observers, 2 more Republican observers, please.
An emboldened Al Gore offers a deal.
First, we should complete hand counts already begun in Palm Beach County, Dade County, and Broward County. I am also prepared, if Governor Bush prefers, to include in this recount all the counties in the entire state of Florida,
forcing an immediate response.
Unfortunately, what the Vice President proposed is exactly what he's been proposing all along, continuing with selective hand recounts that are neither fair nor accurate, or compounding the error by extending a flawed process statewide.
But Florida's Secretary of State says she won't accept the hand-counted votes.
It is my duty under Florida law to exercise my discretion in denying these requested amendments.
Tonight, as the stakes rise, the nation waits.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
It doesn't sound all that malicious, but the ancient Chinese intended it as a curse when they said, "May you live in interesting times." Our times seem to be getting more interesting by the moment. Is there, in fact, a way in which Al Gore and George W. Bush can meet before and after this current electoral swamp is drained to restore some civility to our political process? That, of course, is what the Vice President suggested tonight, and it seemed to be coming from a new feeling of confidence among Democrats that the tide has shifted once again in Mr. Gore's favor. The lawyers for both sides are congealing throughout Florida these days. There are 10, 12, or 15 lawsuits pending by now. State and federal courts have been drawn into the action, and there is certainly some appeal to the Vice President's proposal that all of that litigation could be made to disappear. This battle is being waged simultaneously on more than one front, though. Public relations carrying almost as much weight as litigation in the war for the White House that a simple election failed to resolve. And so it was to be expected that Governor Bush would waste little time in publicly responding to the Gore offer. He raced back from his ranch in Texas to the governor's mansion in Austin, and just a little over an hour ago, he went on television to reject the Vice President's proposal. But that's only part of what happened today. Here now with the rest of the story is Nightline correspondent John Donvan.
The Vice President's residence, Washington, this evening.
We should both call on all our supporters to prepare themselves to close ranks as Americans and unite the country behind the winner as soon as this process is completed.
A Florida parking lot, Palm Beach, this morning. A lot happened between the time these people got off the buses at dawn today and the Vice President's appearance on television tonight, brought in to count votes.
These are guidelines on ballots with chads not completely removed.
Given instructions on how to do it.
Thus, an indentation is not evidence of intent to cast a valid vote.
They spent the day waiting to begin. Here was where things stood as of this morning. While the vote counters waited in Palm Beach, Florida Secretary of State Katherine Harris had gone to the state Supreme Court overnight, asking for a ruling that would stop any county from initiating a hand count without her approval. Meanwhile, she had demanded by 2 p.m. today from each county planning on a recount a memo to her explaining why such a recount was justified. In Palm Beach, the uncertainty over what was legal and what was not held them back.
Okay, my motion, I guess, is to that we suspend till we hear from the Supreme Court. We keep these people in place, and assuming, depending on that opinion, we're ready to go, if that should be the case.
Definitely, Florida Secretary of State Katherine Harris had dealt a setback to the Gore campaign. Instead of counting the votes the Gore team believes could deliver crucial counties, these would-be vote counters were idled by uncertainty over whether a hand count was even legal. But then, late this afternoon, Harris suffered her setback. The Florida Supreme Court denied her petition to stop all hand counts.
Secretary Harris's case was dismissed without prejudice.
ABC News producer Eric Avram was in the courtroom.
Everyone was waiting all day long to see what the court was going to do with Secretary Harris's petition, which she filed in the middle of the night, asking for the hand counting to stop. Then finally, at around 5 o'clock, the court decided, but it said nothing. It just dismissed the case. Practical effect, the counties could keep counting.
2 hours later, the vice president was on live television offering his deal.
I propose that Governor Bush and I meet personally, one-on-one, as soon as possible before the vote count is finished, not to negotiate, but to improve the tone of our dialogue in America. Shortly after the results are known, we should both come together for another meeting to reaffirm our national unity. If I turn out to be successful, I'll be ready to travel to Governor Bush's home. If I am not, I'll be ready to meet him wherever he wishes.
An agreement on how to proceed in Florida. Let the hand counts continue. And then,
if this happens, I will abide by the result. I will take no legal action to challenge the result, and I will not support any legal action to challenge the result. I am also prepared, if Governor Bush prefers, to include in this recount all the counties in the entire state of Florida. I would also be willing to abide by that result and agree not to take any legal action to challenge that result. If there are no further interruptions to the process, we believe the count can be completed within 7 days of the time it starts.
On the surface, it sounded magnanimous, but George W. Bush found it resistible.
I was encouraged tonight that Vice President Gore called for a conclusion to this process. We all agree. Unfortunately, what the Vice President proposed is exactly what he's been proposing all along, continuing with selective hand recounts that are neither fair nor accurate, or compounding the error by extending a flawed process statewide. This means every vote in Florida would be evaluated differently by different individuals using different judgment and perhaps different local standards, or perhaps no standards at all. This would be neither fair nor accurate. It would be arbitrary and chaotic.
But there is another twist here. Catherine Harris, remember, though she could not stop a recount, has the discretion to ignore any recount results reported this late in the process. Tonight, that is exactly what she did.
I've decided it is my duty under Florida law to exercise my discretion in denying these requested amendments. The reasons given in their requests are insufficient to warrant waiver of the unambiguous filing deadline imposed by the Florida legislature.
The other thing that Harris did tonight, she officially certified each county's total vote as reported yesterday, the vote that fell in George Bush's favor by just 300 votes. Overseas ballots will be counted and certified by Saturday. So what happens in the meanwhile? Well, tonight the Gore campaign announced that it will legally challenge Harris's move tomorrow. So obviously, more courtroom time is coming.
We are very sorry that the Secretary of State has taken such a rash and a precipitous action in light of the gravity of the situation and the pendency of this very matter before the Florida Supreme Court tomorrow morning.
And apparently more vote counting, too. In Broward County, they started a hand count this afternoon. But after hearing tonight that their argument for this hand count had been rejected by Catherine Harris, county officials declared,
"We believe that every vote counts, and everyone who went to vote a week ago Tuesday deserves to have their legally correct vote be counted toward the election of the next president of the United States."
They say they will resume their count in the morning in defiance of Florida's Secretary of State. I'm John Donvan for Nightline in Washington.
When we come back, I'll be talking with advisors to Vice President Gore and Governor Bush.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by MasterCard.
Sleeping bag for his first sleepover, $40. Backpack, $18.
Sorry about that. Hey, buddy, you couldn't sleep, huh?
Walkie-talkies, $25. Going home? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Win a house in our Home for the Holiday sweepstakes. Go to MasterCard.com.
Where's Eric then?
He never misses a market.
There was a bad squall last night.
Maybe he ran up on some rocks.
Maybe he was swept overboard.
Maybe he drowned.
Or sharks.
Maybe he already sold his catch online from the boat.
Sharks.
Wireless e-marketplaces from IBM. Now you can sell anything from anywhere.
Rely on an HMO? Well, how much do you know about your doctor? What do health plans know about some of their doctors that they are not telling you? Primetime Investigates, Thursday.
Tennessee has never seen anything this big. Rivergate Toyota, the auto giant.
Hey, like my Uncle Saul used to tell me, Daniel, don't ever pay retail. Hi, folks. Dan Walters here at the Auto Giant, Rivergate Toyota in Nashville, where you never, ever, ever pay retail. Hey, look at this. Right now, you can buy a brand new Corolla like this one, folks. We take $2,150 off. Or buy a sporty, fun-to-drive 2001 Camry. We take $4,000 off. You never pay retail. Rivergate Toyota, we're just down the street from Rivergate Mall. Hey, you come and see us.
Bring your favorite movie to life with a home theater from Audio Video Environments. You dream it, we make it happen. Audio Video Environments.
Both the Gore and Bush campaigns insisted that their representatives this evening be interviewed separately on this broadcast. So, joining us first now from our Washington studios, Jack Quinn. He's a longtime aide to Vice President Al Gore and former White House counsel. The Vice President's announcement this evening, Mr. Quinn, was elegantly timed so that each of the network newscasts would have no option but to A, carry it in its entirety, and B, not have a whole lot of time to examine it and analyze it. It was a neat public relations move, but did you for a moment believe that the Bush campaign was going to accept it?
Yeah, and I'm sorry you characterize it that way, Ted. I think the American people accept it, and I think it's what the American people have wanted. We're looking for an opportunity and a way here to make sure that all the votes in the state of Florida are counted fairly and accurately, and most importantly, that the American people have a sense of confidence that the man who raises his right hand on January 20th and is inaugurated is the person the American people elected to be president. I think the vice president was more than generous in trying to find a way to both give up certainly opportunities to prolong this process and find a path toward reconciling the differences and come to a result that the American people could have great confidence in.
Explain to me what it is you think the Vice President was giving up, because what he has wanted, after all along, is that those votes in particularly Broward County, Dade County, and Palm Beach County be counted again, be manually counted, and the only additional offer that he made was, hey, Republicans, if you want to have the whole state recounted, we can do that too.
Well, look, that's a fairly open and generous opportunity. But more importantly, remember, there were very legitimate claims made against the use of the butterfly ballot in Palm Beach County and opportunities to slow down the process that way. He said he would forego that. I can't tell you how disappointed I was in the announcements by the Secretary of State and Governor Bush tonight. I mean, the Secretary of State, after a handful of hours of considering the appeals from these counties that wanted to recount votes, said she wouldn't do it. She was elected to count votes. She has done everything in her power over the last week to make sure that votes are not counted. Governor Bush, for his part, made a number of statements tonight that are just unfortunately, factually untrue. There are thousands and thousands of votes in the state of Florida that have not been counted. And we need to make sure they're counted. We're willing to have all of the votes in the whole state counted by hand to make sure we know what the result of that election is.
Let me just interrupt briefly because we only have about a minute left in this segment. When all is said and done, though, the very thing that the Vice President said he really wanted to avoid, and that is the further litigation, that's precisely the path down which we're going now, isn't it?
I don't think that's correct. I mean, but let me...
you don't think this thing is... I mean, you folks aren't going to take the Secretary of State's decision back to court again? Of course you are.
Ted, wait a minute. Let's remember that it was the Bush campaign and the Republican Party that first went to federal court, asked to stop counting votes. The federal court said, no, we will not let that happen. Then they went to state court, said, please stop them from counting the votes. The state court said, no, we will not let that happen. The American people are very clear on what's going on here. We want the votes counted. We want a fair, complete, and full count. It is just as clear as can be that it is the other side that is doing everything in its power, including using the courts and the Secretary of State, to stop the counting of votes in the state of Florida.
Mr. Quinn, I'm going to come back to you a little bit later on in the program, but if you'll be good enough to stand by, when we come back,
you bet.
I'll be joined by a senior advisor to Governor George W. Bush.
We can expect in the coming months is Director of Product Development, Paul Noons.
Got it. Nortel Networks is building the new high-performance internet, the wireless internet, with optical technology that makes it faster.
Overall, this has been an exciting
more
year.
reliable.
But the next few months will mark the beginning of a new Gesundheit. Come together. In fact, with technology changing over me.
From M. Night Shyamalan, the writer and director of The Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson. Are you ready for the truth? Unbreakable, rated PG-13, in 8 days.
British classics, a marriage of Victorian elegance and Caribbean soul. Easily affordable with the simple finance plan from Ethan Allen.
Okay, got growth and income fund for retirement. Long term. What do you think for the long term? Yeah, okay. We'll just sit tight on that. And for college, wow, that's only 3 years away now. This might be a little aggressive for 3 years. Must have really good years. What do you think?
Want a second opinion? Introducing the personal financial consultant from Quick & Riley, a Fleet Boston financial company.
That new boss is from another planet.
Totally spaced out at that meeting.
Hey, what's that on your desk?
ABCnews.com. Ready when you are.
She looks like any healthy, energetic 4-year-old girl.
And within, a day, our life completely changed.
But Olivia King's outward appearance is deceiving.
We had no clue that she was as sick as she was.
A diagnosis that just months ago seemed hopeless may soon be a distant memory.
What's the doctor going to do?
Go to the movie. It's a story of courage. It's a fight for life. It's Olivia's story. A News 2 special report Thursday at 10.
Hi, I'm Danny Wright for 1-888 Easy Credit. If you've been told by other dealers no, you can be told yes here at Capital Chevrolet. We have got over 300 new and used cars on the lot for you to choose from. Bad credit, no credit, bankruptcy, divorce, it doesn't matter. You need a car, and we're going to take care of you. 600 Murfreesboro Road, or give us a call at 1-888 Easy Credit. That's 1-888-327-9273. We'll see you here at Capital Chevrolet. And, of course, we're here to save you money.
And joining us now is Senator Fred Thompson of Tennessee, who has just joined the Bush campaign effort this week in Florida. Let me begin with you more or less where I began with Mr. Quinn, and that is on the public relations side of this, and I'm going to go just on cosmetics. I've never seen Governor Bush look more concerned, more worried than he did tonight. and I rarely remember seeing the vice president look more pleased with himself than he does tonight. Should that lead to any inferences on the public's part?
No, I don't think so. I didn't get a chance to catch either one of them, as a matter of fact. I heard them, though. I think that those sentiments are probably misplaced if that is the way that they looked. I imagine the governor is concerned, though, about what's going on down here. We have a remarkable situation, a legal quagmire. The Republicans filed one defensive lawsuit to try to prevent this quagmire we're into now. The Democrats and their supporters have filed about a dozen lawsuits, and they're still coming every day. There'll be more tomorrow. Various jurisdictions, various courts various plaintiffs will undoubtedly get inconsistent results. It undoubtedly will be ongoing. You see partisan accusations, state officials, Republican officials being attacked by the Gore spokespeople. You see people being urged to take to the streets while these people are supposed to be hand counting these ballots. I would imagine that anyone who's interested in the rule of law would be concerned about this.
Well, let me just ask you, I mean, the Secretary of State took, as Mr. Quinn pointed out, 4, 5, 6 hours before she came back with her judgment. Even for the sake of appearances, you would have thought that she might take a whole day to consider what the various counties presented to her. Why didn't she?
Well, I think she was following the law. She's getting good advice. I think the law is clear. The deadline was yesterday. We've got another deadline Friday midnight for the absentee ballots. And the law says that you put those two things together and you've got to count. Nobody knows who's going to win at the result of that process, but that should be the winner. There's certain criteria. Some of these people were very late and even asking for a recount. Strangely enough, the 3 counties involved, 2 of those counties didn't even want to do a manual recount. Even the Democratic members of those canvassing boards didn't want to. The Gore campaign actually sued one of those Democratic counties to try to force them to do a hand recount. Now they've changed their mind and agree with the Gore campaign.
Let me just
that is the mess that we're into right now, and clearly they'll have a chance to redress that in court tomorrow, as they're doing everything else.
As Mr. Quinn pointed out, the one part of the Vice President's proposal today that you might have thought could have held some appeal for the Bush campaign is this notion, which would have clearly been acceptable to the American public as a whole: why not recount all the votes in Florida? Republican counties, Democratic counties, counties where there's an even mix. If you really want to get to the bottom of it and find out who has won the state of Florida, why not do it that way?
That would be taking a flawed process statewide. It's a very important point, and I want to address that. There seems to be an assumption on some people's part that by extending this thing out, taking more time, interjecting the human element by a manual or physical recount, that somehow the results are going to be fairer. That is exactly the opposite of the case. Experts will tell you, as an article on the front page of the Miami Herald today pointed out, that manual recounts are very problematic. Look what's happening in Palm Beach County. Look what's happening in both of the Broward and Palm Beach County. You have highly Democratic counties controlled by majority Democratic election commissioners. There are no standards for them to apply. They're changing the standards as they go. They're supposed to be taking 400,000 and 500,000 ballots that all have been counted at least twice, and in some cases 3 times by machine, and holding it up to the light, changing the standard, trying to look and see whether or not there are hanging chads, little pieces of paper that indicate someone punched it, or if they didn't punch it at all, is there a little indentation that might signify a vote. So if they come up with 301 votes, knowing that they've got a 300-vote deficit, by that process, it is not going to get the full faith and credit of the American people.
Senator Thompson, I want to be sure that both you and Mr. Quinn have a chance to answer one more question, which we will do when we come back.
Thank you.
I know what he's thinking.
How long is this gonna take?
There he goes. Mini pizza?
Well, as long as I'm here.
Smoked sausage?
Just a taste.
Salsa?
Fiesta time.
Because life's full of surprises, some pleasant, some not so pleasant, there's Pepcid AC. And unlike Tums, Pepcid AC works on heartburn anytime, before, during, or even after the start of heartburn.
Many pizzas. How far?
Today should be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
It has arrived.
Listen to me. We have absolutely nothing to fear.
We're never going to survive this, none of us.
Something so powerful.
There's something wrong here.
Something so advanced that it knows no boundaries.
We've got to upgrade the server. It's our only chance.
Sun Microsystems presents The Dot. Your competition will never know it hit them. All they wanted to do was make music. Instead, they changed the world.
The Beatles planted the seeds of rebellion.
They captured our hearts.
They're timeless.
Entered our souls.
They're so much ahead of their time in everything.
Opened our minds.
Every time you bought a Beatles album, you would learn something.
Exclusive interviews with today's biggest names.
They influenced everything that I've ever done.
Experience the legend.
They were the first. It will never be repeated.
The Beatles Revolution, Friday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
No Jekyll, all Hyde. The new 210 horsepower, supercharged Nissan Frontier.
Hi, I'm Danny Wright for 1-888 Easy Credit. If you've been told by other dealers no, you can be told yes here at Capital Chevrolet. We have got over 300 new and used cars on the lot for you to choose from. Bad credit, no credit, bankruptcy, divorce, it doesn't matter. You need a car, and we're going to take care of you. 600 Murfreesboro Road, or give us a call at 1-888 Easy Credit. That's 1-888-327-9273. We'll see you here at Capital Chevrolet. And, of course, we're here to save you money.
And back again with Fred Thompson and Jack Quinn. Go to Senator Thompson first this time. It's the law in Texas, I believe it's also the law in Florida, that when there is a dispute over a machine-counted ballot, that a hand-counted ballot is mandated, not requested, mandated. So why not go with that?
In Texas, it requires one recount. Most of the ballots there are not these punch card ballots.
No, I understand, but we're just talking about machine on the one hand and hand counted on the other. Well, and the law in Texas is you go with the hand count, not the machine count.
Well, some ballots, as you know, states do it differently. Counties do it differently. Some ballots are more conducive.
I'm just talking about Texas. I'm talking about Governor Bush. And it was Governor Bush who signed that law, incidentally.
I'm telling you that most of the ballots they use in Texas are not like the ones we're dealing with here, where you have these chads that are hanging or swinging or bulging and all of the foolishness that we've got down here that a court won't even touch. I think it's apples and oranges.
Well, Mr. Quinn, let's go back to this question of the court not touch. If the court doesn't touch it, the court's probably going to send it back to the counties, isn't it? Isn't that what you're hoping for?
Ted, let me tell you very quickly 3 things that Senator Thompson didn't tell you. Number 1, the Republicans counted 6 Republican counties in the state of Florida by hand. Secondly,
incorrect.
Secondly, as you pointed out, Governor Bush signed a law in the state of Texas that expresses a preference for hand counting. Thirdly, I think it would come as an enormous surprise to people like Washington, Madison, Jefferson, and Adams to hear Senator Thompson saying, oh my God, we can't let people cast ballots by hand and count them by hand. This is crazy. For 200 years, we counted and cast ballots by hand.
Yeah,
this is the most trusted way.
We also drove around in horse and buggy, and we had town criers and not television, and it may have been an improvement. Gentlemen, I'm afraid we're out of time. Next time, I hope you'll talk to each other. I think it'd be a lot more instructive to the rest of us, but I'm grateful to you both for joining us this evening. For the latest on the election stalemate, log on to abcnews.com. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. Tomorrow, how a one-woman campaign to change the election process could have turned into a political revolt. Behind the scenes of the Electoral College on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Watch Brett Lee at 10 p.m. only on News 2.